Well, hello again to all the boys and girls out there in YouTube land watching Georgia Beer Reviews. Back at you today with another one. And what I'm looking at is a beer from Berkshire Brewing Company. They are out of South Deerfield, Massachusetts. This is the Farmstand Raspberry Barley Wine Style Ale. Clocks in at 9% alcohol by volume. I think this bottle's a couple years old, but I was looking at the label. There's no date on it. I was holding it up to the light. Nothing printed on the bottle either. If there was, it's faded. So I really have no idea how old this beer is. But being that it's a 9% barley wine style ale, if it is a couple years old, it should have held up to aging pretty well, maybe even improved. Never had anything from Berkshire Brewing Company, so looking forward to this one. Let's go ahead and crack into it and see what we're dealing with here. There is a lot of stuff, a lot of sediment in this beer. I could tell before I even opened the bottle. Which I don't know if it's going to show up on the camera. I think it is showing up on the camera. Yeah, lots of stuff floating around in there, as you can see. Okay. Didn't pour with much of a head either. Little thin film of a white head. Lots of particulate matter floating around. Let's get an aroma. Definitely getting the raspberry right up front, which is really nice. I will read just a little bit from the side of the label here. It says, this special ale takes on its ruby-hued appearance from the generous use of half a pound of fresh raspberries per gallon, provided by a local farm a few miles from the brewery. Luscious malts and a balanced hop bitterness support the rich, sweet, tart character of the fruit. This brew is distinctly drinkable, challenging the notion of what a fruit beer can be. So I wouldn't say that there's really a ruby hue to this beer. It's really kind of like a deep golden color. And it's just got a ton of stuff floating around in it. Which it looks like yeast. Doesn't look like raspberries. But anyway, it smells good. The raspberries are coming through right up front. None of the alcohol. It smells very raspberry forward. A little bit of a bready malt character coming through on the nose as well. None of the 9% alcohol. That's pretty much it. That's all I'm getting. So, yeah, it smells good, but really not too much there. No hop character that I can really pick up on the aroma. So let's see if any of that comes through on the palate. So without further ado, let's get into this brew. Cheers. Oh, wow. So I think this beer's definitely got some age to it. Because there's really no hop character at all. I'm getting the raspberries, and then there's a very distinct malt character in the middle of the sip. Like caramel. Almost like a caramel candy. Not quite Werther's, but there's a definite like caramel sweet note in the middle of the sip. Some toasted bread. It's a very interesting beer. It's nice. The raspberries though are not coming through. Like it smells very strong with the raspberry notes that you're getting on the aroma, and then that doesn't really translate to the palate. There's just a very mild raspberry flavor. It's really not even very tart. You get a little bit of the raspberry flavor, but there's no like tartness to it. And then it's got that really heavy malt backbone. The caramel almost bordering on toffee. Very bready. and then it finishes drying as it goes down, which could be coming from the 9%, but it's not warming going down. There's really nothing to indicate that it's a 9% alcohol beer. The body for a 9%er, being that it's a barley wine style as well, is actually really relatively light. I would say that it's probably like low medium, which is very scary drinkable for this style of beer. This is interesting. It's very nice and pleasant. I wish maybe a little bit more raspberry was coming through, considering that they put a pound, I'm sorry, half a pound per gallon. Balanced hop bitterness. Really not getting much bitterness. Like I said, I cannot confirm, but I'm pretty sure this bottle is a couple of years old. It was sitting on the shelf right next to the 2018 Bourbon County, which I also bought a couple bottles of that. Little mom and pop shop, kind of in the middle of nowhere. I was working today and drove by, stopped in, had a bunch of like older big bottles like this, and they were all like 2018, 2019. This one, like I said, now that I've poured out the beer, I want to see if I can see if there's a date. And there is not. Yeah, no date. If for whatever reason I do find a date on the bottle, I'll post it in the description below. But I looked high and low on this thing and I could not find anything. Lot code, date, nothing. Nothing to indicate when this may have been bottled. So, carbonation with this is on the medium side, which is nice. It's pretty crisp and light bodied for a barley wine style ale. The raspberries really kind of freshen it up, but you don't get a ton of the raspberry tartness and super strong raspberry flavors. It's just kind of in the background. You know there's raspberries in it, but it's not over the top. And it is nicely balanced with the malts in the beer. You do get that nice caramel malt action, a little bit of lightly toasted bread notes in the middle of the sip, and then it drops off really quick on the finish because there's no hop bitterness or anything, and there's no warming effect from the alcohol. The alcohol just kind of creates that drying effect, and the finish is very short-lived, which makes you want to go right back in for another sip. So I'm actually really enjoying this. It's a unique beer. I don't think I've ever had a barley wine with fruit in it before like this. I'm going to go with a 96 out of 100. This is a really solid A. It's getting up there. I would highly recommend it if you can find it in your area. This would be one that you could age for a couple of years. And like I said, I do think this bottle is a few years old. Really enjoying it, and I would definitely recommend it if you can find it in your area. It's definitely worth a shot. I got a couple other bottles of Berkshire beers, reviews coming soon for those, so hopefully they're all as good as this one. So very enjoyable beer. 96 out of 100 for the Farmstand Raspberry Barley Wine Style Ale. Buy it, try it, let me know what you guys think. That'll do it for this beer review. Hope you're all having a wonderful day, and until next time, everybody, cheers.